Just TSA agents worried about their paycheck. KGW investigator Kristen Severance shows us who else isn't getting paid during the shutdown.
A viewer wanted us to verify which federal employees are getting paid during the shutdown. So there are more than 800,000 employees on the federal government's payroll impacted by the shutdown. 500,000 are deemed essential, so they're still working but not getting a paycheck. That includes the FBI, TSA, and Customs and Border Protection agents. They will receive back pay once the government reopens. More than 300,000 of those workers are out of work and furloughed. They are not guaranteed back pay for all of those missed weeks of work. President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, administration officials, cabinet members, members of the Senate and House, and the Supreme Court justices are all getting their regular paychecks during the shutdown. Now, most members of the military, that includes Navy, Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps, they're all getting paid because of how they're funded. The Coast Guard was not supposed to receive regular pay. However, Homeland Security came up with $75 million for one pay period. If the shutdown continues, though, they will not be receiving paychecks. We also learned that contract workers completing work for the government will likely not receive back pay. Back to you.
If you have a story idea for Kristen to investigate, give her a call at 503-226-5041, or you can email call Kristen